Okay, so one of my fans actually told me that I say hey guys in each video that I make, so I might not be saying hey guys anymore. Instead, we're just going to go ahead and start with notes. So today we're going to go ahead and go over page 4 notes, day 1, percent composition. So the percent composition of a substance or mixture is the mass percent of, so let me just fill that out, mass percent of each element or compound. Okay, to find the percent of an element in a compound, we have to use the molar mass as the whole amount. Okay, so in other words, if we're trying to figure out the percent composition of water, well, we know that water is H2O. Okay, and we also know from the periodic table that oxygen weighs about 15.99 grams and hydrogen only weighs 1.008 grams. Okay, so knowing those values, we can come up with the percentage of 89% for oxygen and 11% for hydrogen. Okay, so that is, oxygen makes up 89% of water and hydrogen only makes up 11% of water. Okay, so when asked to find the percent composition, you are calculating the percentage of just each element in the substance or mixture. Okay, so just like what we did for our example, we calculated, or we actually just gave you the percentage of oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, so to make sense of all this, let's go ahead and take a look at our practice problems. Okay, so number 1 is telling us, or asking us to find the percent of sodium in sodium oxide. Okay, the very first step you have to do for percent composition is always determine how much does your compound weigh. Okay, so sodium oxide, well, sodium on our periodic table is 22.99. Okay, and we have 2 sodiums. Oxygen is 15.99 on the periodic table, but I guess they decided to round that here. So when you add all that up, you end up with 61.98 grams. Okay, so that's how much this compound weighs. But remember, we're only looking for sodium, not the whole compound. So to determine the percent of sodium, we're going to have to take our part and divide it by our whole, and then we're going to multiply that by 100 because we want a percent, so we're going to multiply by 100. Okay, so when we fill out our equation, well, sodium is going to be part of that whole, right? Sodium is part of sodium oxide, so part would be 45.98. Okay, and our whole would be 61.98 grams. Okay, so we have to multiply that to get a percentage, and I believe my answer is different from my key. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the calculator so we can figure that out. So 45.98 divided by 61.98. Okay, enter, and then we're going to multiply that by 100. Okay, so we get 74.19%. Okay, so that is how much the percentage of sodium in sodium oxide. Okay, there is 74%. sodium in sodium oxide. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our next question, number 2. It says, find the percent composition of a compound that has 5.34 grams of carbon, 0.42 grams of hydrogen, and 47.08 grams of chlorine. Okay, so remember that with percent composition, our first step is always to determine our total mass, or the whole mass of whatever compound we've been given. Well, since this is an unknown compound, we can just go ahead and just add that total up, okay? And when we add all that up, we get 52.84 grams. Well, since it didn't ask us for a specific element to look for, like in number 1, it asked us to look for sodium. Well, number 2, it didn't ask for a specific compound, so that means we're going to have to figure out each and every single element. Okay, so remember that our general formula is this right here. Okay, part divided by whole times 100. Okay, so that's what they did. Carbon is 5.34 grams over 52.84, then times by 100, because again, you are trying to find a percentage. So when you do that in the calculator, okay, you end up with 10.11. Okay, now if you want to go ahead and pause the video and try to figure out the calculations yourself, you can go ahead and do that. But 0.42 grams of hydrogen divided by 52.84 grams times 100 ends up being 0.79. And then chlorine, 74.08 divided by 52.84 times 100, that'll give you 89.10. Okay, so that's it. If it asks for percent composition, find your whole, then take your formula, take your part divided by whole, then multiply by 100, and then it'll give you these percentages. Okay, and that's all for number 2. Okay, give me 1 second.